Guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of Flea Market Finds right here on ToyWorldOrder.com. I'm your host, Devall, and as always, this show is an awesome look at the stuff that I find at every garage sale, flea market, antique mall, auction, and more that I spend my weekends converging through one to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. It gets very long, but I've got some awesome stuff to show off today, and I wanted to show this stuff off as soon as I got it because this stuff is very cool. Check this out. Now, in the 90s, about the time of the height of Ninja Turtles, Pez did a series of Ninja Turtles Pez holders. So they did Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, and a kind of packaged Leonardo is what I found. Got these for about $1 a piece at an antique mall. I was happy to find all four of these. They did another version of them with smiling faces. And I didn't want the smiling face ones. I wanted the grimacing ones, the the real grin. Anyway, these were an awesome find, and I'm not a big Pez collector, but when I find licensed stuff like this, I have to get it and have to pick it up, especially when it's like $1 a piece. Usually you find these at antique malls and they've got them in a bin for like $5 a piece, and you're like, $5 a piece for Pez? Unless they're from like 1965 maybe. These are awesome at $1 a piece. So these were a very cool pickup, and I'm very proud to be displaying these somewhere in my sizable collection. Moving on. Now, the wife and I are huge Disney fans. We're also big Muppet fans. We love the Muppets. The Muppets are amazing, great creations by Jim Henson. And one of the things we found at a little flea market was this very cool little baby Kermit as a pirate. I know it's made by Ilco. I don't know when this was, 89 is when this little bank was created. It's kind of cute. He's a little beat up. He needs a little loving, a little cleaning. Haven't yet got around to him. Somebody tried to repaint his eyes, and I can fix that. That's not a big deal. But this is an awesome vinyl collector bank that I will probably display somewhere with my Muppet stuff. But a very neat, very cool piece that I didn't actually know existed. I'm not sure what these were made for, if anything, but very cool, very neat. Now, I know in one of the 2 episodes that my wife Carrie hosted with me, we had found some really cool Kellogg's mini beanies of Sesame Street characters, and we found a new one to go along with that little collection, and we found a little tiny Oscar the Grouch. Little Kellogg Oscar the Grouch. Kind of neat, kind of cool. His tag was ripped off, which is kind of sad, but he was basically free, and I couldn't pass up grabbing him to add to the collection of little mini beanies we have. So this little guy, little Oscar, I'm mad, I'm grouchy, he's going to be a very cool addition to the little line of mini beanies I have. So very cool. Very neat. I love finding very random, very odd Walt Disney World and Disneyland memorabilia, souvenirs and stuff they sold at the parks and whatnot. And some of the stuff you'll just never see. It's never going to happen. They're never going to make it again. One of those things I found was this very cool Walt Disney World ashtray. Yes, ashtray. Never been used, and you can tell because it's damn clean. This is one of those very odd items that is from a bygone era. I haven't done the research on it. I want to say, if I had to guess, this is probably from the, it opened in 71, so this is probably around 75, 76 maybe when they made this, maybe even earlier than that. But a very cool piece from a very bygone era before, well, they knew cigarettes could kill you then, but now it's just taboo to market something like this. You don't see ashtrays in supermarkets and stuff like that anymore. Very cool piece, very neat, and a very rare find to find one in this nice shape, because usually they were bought, they broke, they're made out of ceramic, they're nasty by now. People actually did use them as ashtrays. Very neat, very cool. I'm very happy to find this for around $4. Not a bad deal. Now, I love the real Ghostbusters toys. I don't have a whole lot of them. I have some that I've saved from when I was a kid. I've found a few since then that I've added to my collection. And at a little indoor flea market, digging through a bin, I found a number of them that are awesome. I found the Hunchback of Notre Dame, that he has his little chain that you put into his arms, and you squeeze his legs, and he goes, "Rah!" and he breaks his chain. "Rah! Hi, rah, rah. Hi, I'm a human. Sanctuary. Anyway, so I found Hunchback of Notre Dame. Very cool. I found Granny Gross, who is very neat. With a spin of her hat, her eyeball comes out, her eyeballs pop out, and then rah! Very, very cool, very neat Ghostbuster ghost. I found the awesome male fraud, who's very cool because you pull up his upper body and he turns into this monster, and then you press his feet up and his little jaw goes rah, 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 rah. Very cool. And I found one of the two, there was a 2-pack, I couldn't find the other one, but the little spring-loaded traps that when a Ghostbuster steps in, they spring shut, and it actually hurts a little bit. Very neat, very cool. I love real Ghostbusters toys. I love the ghosts more than I love the actual Ghostbusters, because the ghosts were, I mean, there's only so many different variations you can do. The Ghostbusters before you were like, glow-in-the-dark ones, seeing that, fright features, screaming ones, but the ghosts were always cool, especially the human ghosts, because those were the most imaginative in my mind. These are very cool. I paid $1 a piece for all of these. At a toy show, you'll see these in bins. People are charging $4 or $5 a piece. So $1 a piece for these little guys, well worth the investment. Probably a number of you remember a 90s show on Fox, on the Fox Kids Club, called Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, and it was an animated series. Tim Curry was the voice of Captain Hook. Very kind of, I don't know, you love it or you hate it. I liked it. I thought it was a cool show. I actually managed to track down every episode of the show that I now have on a hard drive that, anyway. But there was a toy line released by THQ, the video game company. They actually did a series of figures for it, and I happened to find the one and only Peter Pan in his package. Paid $3 for him. Not bad. There were a number of these figures. They're not great figures, but this is one of those very small lines that are actually pretty easy to obtain all the figures out of, and just kind of a nice oddity. I love the small lines. I love the odd lines. I love finding this stuff. Now I'll probably track down the other, there were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there were 8 figures altogether, so I'll track down the other 7 figures someday soon and add them to Peter, and then one of these days I'm going to get around to reviewing Peter. I'm actually going to open this because you can't really see it. I kind of fixed it, but the bubble's a little beat up, and they put sticker on it, and while he's on a nice card, I would like to open this and review it because it's just such a darn odd figure. So keep your eyes out for that. Very, very cool find for $3. Now, as I said, Carrie and I are huge Disney fans. We love Disney stuff, and we found these we found these two awesome ceramic hand-painted Mickey and Minnie figurines. They're licensed. They are labeled Walt Disney Productions on the back. I have yet to do research on these, but they are hand-painted and very beautifully hand-painted and in such great shape. I think Minnie just has a small chip on the back of her ear, but overall these are in amazing shape. We paid $7.50 for the pair of these. It was a very, very cool find. It's not often we find cool stuff like this in an antique store that's actually affordable. A lot of times they want like $40-50 a piece, and it's like, oh my god. $7.50 for the two of these. Again, beautifully hand painted. I'll have to do some research and find out where these were sold, who sold them. Maybe they came from the parks, I'm not sure, but very, very neat, very cool. I'm very happy to be displaying these in our growing Disney collection. I can't do a good Mickey. Just forget I tried to do that. It's kind of embarrassing. Anyway, let's move on. I got one last thing to show you before we end this episode. I want to end this flea market find on a board game. I used to be a huge comic book geek. I sold my collection about probably 6 years ago, right about the time Carrie and I met, and I used the money that I made from my comic book collection for her and I to go to California for the first time. We visited Disneyland for the first time and all that stuff. Long vacation in California. It was money well spent, actually. I had gotten out of comics. They got too expensive. When you get to about $3.95 an issue, it's like, no, I don't want to pay that anymore. But one of the series that I kept that I actually was a huge fan of is Wendy and Richard Peeney's ElfQuest books that were put out by Warp Graphics originally. They were self-published. Marvel did some reprints of them. DC now owns them. There was a lot of ElfQuest stuff out there. And something I didn't know existed until I saw it in an online auction was this very awesome, from Mayfair Games, ElfQuest board game. Very, very neat, very cool board game. Something I've wanted as soon as I saw it. I was like, I have to have that board game. I don't care about anything else in this auction. I have to win that board game. I think I won it for $10. Nobody really bid on it because, again, I don't know if there's a lot of, there's a huge ElfQuest fan base out there, but I don't think there's a lot of them looking for this kind of stuff. And you know me, I like the odd stuff. So bought it, picked it up. Very, very cool board game. Very happy. One of these days I will get around to playing this because it looks, it's very elaborate. It's very neat. It's very cool. It's got a bunch of different map pieces that you can move and make new maps, and very, very cool, very neat. Very awesome find. So there you go, guys. That brings us to the end of another Flea Market Finds right here on ToyWorldOrder.com. I really hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lots of cool stuff, lots of great finds. As always, I'm always finding stuff, I'm always digging. Keep digging out there, guys, man. Keep going to those flea markets, to Salvation Army, to Goodwill. Keep going to all of those kind of outlets and keep digging, because you never know what you're gonna find. You can check me out on Twitter. You can follow me at Devall. You can go to ToyWorldOrder.com. Join the forums. It's absolutely free. There's lots of great talk there. There's a great little community being built there that has been growing over the past year and a half. So I want to thank all the fans for doing that. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you haven't, click subscribe on the Toy World Order page. Do that, helps us out tremendously, and I can continue to do these amazing find videos and be able to go out and find this stuff. So great stuff as always. Guys, come back next time. Got great stuff. I'll see you then, gang. Remember, keep digging. As I said, never know what you're gonna find. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.